What's up, Blue River Nation, and welcome to Chills and Thrills. I'm your host, Jonathan, and today I want to talk about the 2020 horror movie, The Call. Not to be confused with the other 2020 horror movie, The Call, which I actually watched on the exact same day. I like them both. They're both really good. One had Jigsaw from the Saw movies on it. It was pretty good. But the Korean one, that was... wow. The Korean one, shit just blew me away. So the premise of this movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. This girl comes back to her home, and the home that she grew up in, and so the premise of this movie is this woman, her mom's dying of cancer. She goes back to her childhood home. Her father died, and she hasn't had the best life, but she's in school right now, and she's trying to better herself, and she goes home, and her cell phone gets stolen. So while she's looking through the house, she uncovers an old landline phone. So she uses that to try to call her cell phone and get it back. And then she gets a call. She answers it, and it's someone trying to speak to someone who works at the store. And she's like, "Oh, you got the wrong number, yada yada." Time goes on, she gets another call. Eventually, she finds out that the person who's been calling her is the girl who lived there before her family bought the house. The girl who she's talking to on the phone, his parents sold the house to her family 20 years ago. So you have two women who are the exact same age, 20 years apart, now talking on the phone every night. And the girl in the past is this sweet, innocent girl who's overly sheltered. Her mom is a witch, or a Wiccan, or whatever she wants to call herself. And she doesn't let her go anywhere, doesn't let her have any friends, any associates. Basically keeps her locked in the house and thinks that she's possessed and is trying to exorcise her. The girl in the present finds out that the mother kills the daughter during an exorcism. And so she's like, I have to protect her, I have to save her. So she warns the girl. And, well, actually before she warns the girl saves herself. And kills her mother, or stepmother. It wasn't her real mother, it was a stepmother, it was an adopted mother. She then saves the girl in the future's father from dying. And so they have this real friendship. No, she saves the father from dying first. Then she warns her about the stepmother. So they have this real friendship. They've saved each other's lives. The girl in the present remembers everything from the original, I guess because she's on the phone. And all of a sudden her dad's alive. Everything's different. Her mom's no longer sick. Her whole life is altered by this one event. And, everything's hunky-dory. Then we find out that the girl in the past killed her mother. Then she kills the farm dude. She becomes a serial killer. And so the girl in the present is like, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. The girl in the past is like, you have to tell me how I get caught so that I can stay free. And the girl in the future is like, I don't want any part of this. So she kills her father again. And then basically, since she's now met them, she takes the mother hostage. It's like, you keep me out of prison or your mom dies. And so the mother, it's this whole thing. And so eventually the mother stops her, and the movie, I'm going to spoil the movie if you haven't seen the ending of it, because the ending just fucks with you. So she takes the mother captive, and she's like, you either keep me out of prison or I'll kill you. So she plays along and tries to help her, but actually tries to set her up to die in an explosion, and it doesn't work. And the mother manages to escape, and we think she dies in the past, and because the mother and a cop go there, and she manages to talk to her mother in the past, and the movie ends the way you think it's gonna end. The crazy serial killer, who at the beginning of the movie you think is a sweet innocent girl, but turns out to be a complete and utter psychopath, dies. The girl and her mother, they have a better relationship than they've ever had before. Yes, the father's still dead, but at least the mother and daughter relationship is healed, because it was fractured in the original timeline. And everything's hunky-dory. And then as the movie's ending and as the credits start to roll, we see the mother and daughter walking down the path away from the father's gravestone as the credits roll. And then the whole screen flickers, and then the mother's gone. And then we're like, what the fuck? Like, what just happened to the mother? Then we get a flashback scene to where, because the girl was never arrested and never killed anymore, she called herself and changed the timeline again. And so now the main girl, who in the 90s is a little girl, gets kidnapped and spends her whole life locked in this house as a prisoner of the psychopath. And that's the end credits. Like, I've never seen a movie that sucker punched you that much in the end credits. The movie ends the way you think a movie's gonna end. Happily ever after, the hero wins, the villain dies. And then the end credits say, nah, fuck you, it's the opposite. What it is, maybe it's because American movies are so formulaic lately, but some of these South Korean movies and TV shows are so much better. They're so interesting and engaging. And this is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. So if you have Netflix, you definitely should check it out. I love how, so every time the past changes, everything kind of has a ripple effect and alters everything. Because they're moving forward in time together, but separated by 20 years. I love how, and one of the changes, the girl, our main star, goes to the house, and all of a sudden the house isn't hers anymore, and it's filled with refrigerators. So the girl in the past still lives there and was killing people and stuffing their bodies in all these refrigerators. It just filled the house with refrigerators. It's insane. Who thinks of this? It was dark and twisted in all the ways that you want a movie to be dark and twisted. And it was fun. And it was such a great premise. And the fact that the villain turns out to be the person you had the most sympathy for in the beginning of the movie, that was just genius. So it's called The Call, and it's on Netflix, and you should definitely check it out. But until next time, I'm Jonathan. This is Chills and Thrills. Give us legends.